All right, let's unpack this. We're going deep on explosives engineering today.
Definitely not your average 9 to 5, right?
No kidding.
Yeah.
We're talking about a career where high stakes takes on a whole new meaning. But hey, that's why we're here. We've got all the RoleCatcher resources to help you ace that interview.
Because let's face it, anyone prepping for this kind of interview wants to make a real impact.
Exactly. So first things first, we need to paint a picture of what an explosives engineer actually does.
It's more than just, pressing the red button.
Yeah, way more. Let's dive into the RoleCatcher Career Guide and see what the day-to-day looks like. What are the real nitty-gritty details?
Okay, so the guide emphasizes something really crucial. Meticulous planning. I mean, we're talking about explosives here. Everything has to be precise.
Makes sense. So walk me through it. What kind of tasks are we talking about?
Well, think about designing those intricate drilling patterns. Then you have to calculate the exact amount of explosives needed. And of course, supervising those blasts, making sure everything is executed flawlessly.
It's a delicate balance, isn't it? Power and control, all rolled into one.
You got it. And don't forget about those misfires.
Oh, yeah, those must be pretty stressful situations.
Yeah.
How do they handle that?
Well, investigating misfires requires a very specific skill set, You need a sharp eye for detail, top-notch problem-solving abilities.
I bet. And I'm guessing they're also responsible for those explosive magazines, right?
Absolutely. Maintaining those is a huge responsibility. Meticulous record-keeping, strict adherence to safety regulations, it's all part of the job.
Speaking of safety, that's got to be a constant consideration in this line of work.
Absolutely. Precision and risk mitigation are paramount, especially when you consider that these engineers often work in some pretty challenging environments. Think remote locations, unpredictable weather, the works.
That's a lot to juggle. Okay, now, let's get to the good stuff, those interview questions.
Yeah.
And let's be real, these are not your typical tell me about your strengths and weaknesses questions. We're going to pull some real examples from the RoleCatcher Guide, break down what they're really asking, and give you the inside scoop on how to craft answers that will impress.
Sounds good to me.
All right, so let's start with a common one. What inspired you to pursue a career in explosives engineering? Seems simple enough, right? But what's the interviewer really getting at?
Okay, with this question, they want to see your passion, They want to know what sparked your interest in this very specific field.
Right.
A textbook answer just won't cut it.
So storytelling is key here.
Exactly. Did a childhood fascination with fireworks lead you here? Was there a particular science project that went explosively right? Share what truly ignited your curiosity.
I love it. Okay, but what about pitfalls? What should people avoid saying?
Well, while enthusiasm is great, remember to keep it professional. Don't exaggerate your experiences or get too casual with your language. You want to show your personality, but also your professionalism.
Makes total sense. Okay, next up. How do you ensure safety when handling explosives? This one seems pretty crucial given the nature of the job.
Absolutely. This question goes to the heart of what an explosives engineer does. The interviewer wants to see that you understand the gravity of safety procedures and protocols.
Right, so it's more than just saying safety is important.
Right. It's about showcasing your knowledge. Mention those OSHA certifications, any relevant credentials you have, and how you've applied those in real-world scenarios.
So name-dropping those certifications is a good tactic. What about real-world examples? What kind of things should they be ready to talk about?
Have you implemented specific safety procedures? Did you contribute to improving safety measures, even in a lab or another field? Connect those experiences to this role. It shows you can think critically about safety.
I like it. Concrete examples, certifications, knowledge of regulations. Got it. Now, let's tackle a question that might make some people sweat. How do you conduct risk assessments for explosive operations? This seems pretty intense.
Yeah, this one digs into your analytical skills. They want to know how your brain works when faced with a potentially dangerous situation.
So how do you break down that process for them?
Think of it as a mental checklist. What are the potential hazards? How likely are they to happen? And what's the potential impact? And most importantly, what strategies can you put in place to mitigate those risks? Explain your steps clearly. It shows you're analytical and experienced.
So it's like, here's what I look for, here's how I evaluate it, and here's my plan.
Exactly. And real-world examples are gold here. Did you spot a potential hazard during a site inspection? Did you have to adapt a blast design because of, say, unexpected weather? Those examples show you can think on your feet and prioritize safety.
I bet those make a big difference. Okay, shifting gears a bit, let's look at this one. How do you manage stakeholder relationships and expectations for explosive operations? This seems like it goes beyond the technical stuff, right?
Oh, absolutely. Remember, explosives projects involve a whole web of stakeholders. Clients, regulators, community members, you name it, and they all might have different expectations and concerns.
So communication is crucial here. How can you show them you're a smooth operator in that department?
Well, start by explaining your approach to stakeholder engagement. Do you proactively communicate updates? Do you hold regular meetings to address concerns? Then give them those specific examples, times you successfully handled tricky stakeholder interactions.
Okay, so what kind of scenarios would be good to mention?
Think about times you had to address community concerns, maybe about noise or vibration. Or maybe you had to negotiate project timelines with clients, or even work with regulators to ensure everything's compliant. Show them you can handle those delicate situations.
That's super helpful. Okay, before we jump into more questions, let's talk about how RoleCatcher can be your secret weapon in this whole process.
Oh yeah, RoleCatcher's AI is a game changer.
Okay, but what makes it different than just doing a quick Google search?
It's not just a generic search, it's personalized. RoleCatcher's AI dives deep into the specific job you're applying for. It analyzes the skills and experience mentioned in the job description, and then helps you tailor your CV and answers to highlight the most relevant parts of your background.
So it's like having a personal career coach who knows exactly what this role requires.
You got it. It's all about presenting yourself in the best possible light and increasing those chances of landing the interview.
Wow, I'm seeing how valuable that can be. It's not just what you say, but how you say it, right?
Absolutely. And hey, that's not all. RoleCatcher also has this massive database of employers and detailed career guides. Use it to research companies, understand industry trends, really find the perfect fit.
That's amazing. All right, you ready to dive back into some more interview questions?
Let's do it. Okay, how about this one? Describe a time you had to deal with a challenging situation during a blast. How did you handle it? Classic behavioral question.
Yeah, this one's all about your problem-solving skills under pressure. Yeah.
Exactly. They want to hear about a real challenge you faced, how you tackled it, what steps you took to solve it.
So what kind of scenario would work here?
It could be anything, really, from a technical malfunction to, let's say, an unexpected geological condition. Maybe you had a misfire, one that needed careful investigation and remediation, or maybe you had to adjust a blast design on the fly because the weather took a turn.
And what should they focus on when they're describing how they handled it?
Highlight those quick thinking skills, your ability to assess the situation, prioritize safety, and find a practical solution. If it was a team effort, definitely emphasize your communication and collaboration skills.
It's not just about fixing the problem. It's about how you worked under pressure.
Got it. Any tips on making that response more impactful? The STAR method is your friend here. Situation, task, action, and result. It's a great framework, keeps your story clear and organized.
Oh, I love the STAR method. It's so helpful for these kinds of questions. Okay, let's say you're going for a more senior role. You might get a question like, how do you approach mentoring and developing junior explosives engineers?
This one's all about showcasing your leadership, how you support the next generation of professionals.
So what are they really looking for in that answer?
They want to see if you have a structured approach to mentorship. Do you give regular feedback, create opportunities for development? Are you excited to share what you've learned?
What kind of examples would really show that you're a good mentor?
Think about times when you gave guidance on technical aspects of the job, maybe helped junior engineers sharpen their problem-solving skills, or even offered career advice. If you've ever created a formal mentorship program, definitely talk about that.
No, that's impressive. Okay, so basically you want to show them you're dedicated to building a strong team, right?
Right. Supporting each other's growth, that's key. Now let's shift gears a bit. Let's say there's a question tied to a specific company or project, something like, how would you handle a situation where a blasting operation had to be delayed because of unforeseen circumstances?
That's a tough one. How should they approach a question like that?
First things first, acknowledge that safety and compliance are non-negotiable. Then, lay out the steps. How you'd assess the situation, figure out the cause of the delay, and come up with a plan to minimize the impact.
So many factors to consider. What should they be thinking about when creating that plan?
Well, it depends on the specifics, right? But think about things like rescheduling the blast, communicating with everyone involved, adjusting the budget or timeline if needed.
It's all about showing them you can think critically under pressure. Okay, now for a question that can really make you stand out. What are some emerging trends in explosives engineering that you're excited about?
This one's your chance to shine, you know? Show them you're passionate about the field and you're keeping up with the latest advancements.
It's about being proactive, showing that you're always learning. What are some trends that they could mention?
Oh, there's so much happening. You could talk about digital blasting technologies, new environmentally friendly explosives, or even the increasing use of automation.
And how can they connect those back to the company or role?
Explain how these trends could benefit them, you know? Improve safety, boost efficiency. For instance, if the company is big on sustainability, you could talk about those eco-friendly explosives.
That's a great way to show you understand their goals.
Hmm.
Okay, we can't forget about RoleCatcher. It can be a huge help in tailoring your answers.
Definitely. RoleCatcher's AI can really dig into that job description and company profile. It helps you find those key themes and keywords and weave them into your responses.
It's like getting a sneak peek into what the interviewers are looking for.
Exactly. Gives you that edge to stand out.
Before we move on, let's circle back to something the career guide mentioned. Continuous learning. That's important in this
Yeah.
field, right?
Oh, absolutely. This field is always evolving, new technologies popping up all the time, best practices changing. It's essential to stay ahead of the curve.
So how can someone show they're committed to learning, during an interview?
Think about professional organizations like the International Society of Explosives Engineers, the IC. Mentioning your involvement shows you're active, engaged, and dedicated to professional development.
It's not just about what you know now. It's about showing that desire to keep learning and growing, right?
Right. And remember, RoleCatcher's got those career guides packed with insights on industry trends and resources for professional development. Use them.
That's like a personalized roadmap for your career. Okay, ready for the last few questions they might throw your way?
Bring 'em on! Okay, let's talk about a question that really looks ahead. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh, the classic career aspirations question. Always a tricky one. What's the best way to handle it?
It's all about finding that balance. You want to show ambition, that drive to grow, but also that you're committed to the company, to this field.
So how do you strike that balance?
Start with those short-term goals. What are you eager to learn right now? Master a specific technique. Tackle tougher projects. Then connect those to the bigger picture. Specialization, leadership role. Where do you see yourself heading?
And how do you make it relevant to the specific company?
Research is key. See where the company's going, what opportunities they have. Do they have a strong mentorship program? If you're interested in that, mention it. Shows you've done your homework and you're thinking long term.
It's like saying, I don't just want a job, I want a career here.
Exactly. Now let's flip the script. What about a question that helps you size up the company? Something like, what is the company's approach to safety?
This one's more about them than you. What's the strategy here?
It's a two-way street, remember? You're checking out their commitment to safety just as they're assessing yours. A company with a strong safety culture, they'll have those clear procedures, training programs, a proactive approach to hazards.
So what kind of answers should be setting off alarm bells or, making you feel good?
Listen for specifics. Do they have a dedicated safety team? Regular audits. Do they involve employees in creating those safety procedures? Those are good signs.
It makes sense. Finding a company where you feel safe and valued, that's just as important as the job title, right?
Absolutely. Their safety culture speaks volumes about their values, how they treat their people. Okay, last question. A bit more technical. Can you explain your experience with different types of explosives and detonation systems?
Time to show off that expertise, huh?
You got it.
Yeah.
This is where you dive into the nuances. Different explosives for different situations, right? And remember, the career guide mentioned a variety of settings. Mining, construction. Tailor your answer to the industry you're interviewing for.
So show off that versatility. What kind of examples would really make an impression?
Think about projects where you had to choose the right type of explosive, based on the rock, the environment, nearby structures. Explain your process, how you made those decisions, and highlight those successful outcomes.
That's fantastic advice. And as we wrap up this deep dive into explosives engineer interview prep, I just want to remind everyone about the incredible resource they have at their fingertips, RoleCatcher.
Absolutely. RoleCatcher's AI can help you through every step of the interview process, from polishing your CV to practicing your answers and even getting feedback on those video rehearsals.
It's like having a personal interview coach and a huge library of career resources all in one.
You got it. Don't forget that extensive database of employers and those detailed career guides, too. It's a goldmine for researching companies, understanding what's happening in the industry, finding that perfect match.
So whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned engineer looking for a new challenge, RoleCatcher's got you covered. And remember, preparation is key. With a solid understanding of what this job entails, strong answers to those tough questions, and RoleCatcher's AI in your corner, you're well on your way to landing that explosive career.
And one final thought. As you prep, really visualize yourself in that role. What unique challenges might you face? What skills and experiences would make you shine? Jot down some ideas and use them to make your answers stand out. That's how you show them you're the one they're looking for.
Great advice. Good luck out there.